actress is claiming she was handcuffed and detained by police after being mistaken for a prostitute as she kissed her white husband. Daniele Watts, who played Slave Coco in the award-winning film, posted the news on her Facebook page on 2 September and said her arm was cut when she was handcuffed. Watts and her husband Brian James Lucas claim that they were kissing on a Hollywood street when police were called and they were asked to show their ID card, to which Watts refused. Watts wrote on her Facebook page, "Today I was handcuffed and detained by 2 police officers from the Studio City Police Department after refusing to agree that I had done something wrong by showing affection, fully clothed, in a public place." She also posted a photo of crying as she stood in the street wearing patterned shorts, a t-shirt with New York written on it and running shoes with a policeman next to her. Watts, who plays Martin Lawrence's daughter on the new FX comedy Partners, continued, "When the officer arrived, I was standing on the sidewalk by a tree. I was talking to my father on my cell phone. I knew that I had done nothing wrong, that I wasn't harming anyone, so I walked away. A few minutes later, I was still talking to my dad when 2 different police officers accosted me and forced me into handcuffs. As I was sitting in the back of the police car, I remembered the countless times my father came home frustrated or humiliated by the cops when he had done nothing wrong. I allowed myself to be honest about my anger, frustration, and rage as tears flowed from my eyes. The tears I cry for a country that calls itself the land of the free and the home of the brave and yet detains people for claiming that very right." Separately, her chef husband posted on his Facebook page that he thought that the person who called the police had decided they looked like a prostitute and a client. He wrote, "From the questions that he asked me as Dee was already on her phone with her dad, I could tell that whoever called on us, including the officers, saw a tatted rocker white boy and a hot booty-shorted black girl and thought we were a prostitute and a client. What an assumption to make. Because of my past experience with the law, I gave him my ID knowing we did nothing wrong, and when they asked Dee for hers, she refused to give it because they had no right to do so. So they handcuffed her and threw her roughly into the back of the cop car until they could figure out who she was. In the process of handcuffing her, they cut her wrist, which was truly not cool." An LAPD public information officer said there was no record of the incident as Watts was not arrested or brought into the station for questioning, according to the Chicago Tribune.